My name is Rachael Nurmi. This is my front-end portfolio project to graduate with honors. I worked to build a website that works as a resource center for artists. The goal was to create a website that members of Springboards for the Arts could go to in order to have a digital location to view educational material. This website was built using the React.js library. The first component I developed was the header. The header contains a navbar, jumbotron, and call to action. In the navbar, you can click on the login, and the modal with a login form will pop up. The modal in the CTA will prompt you to join if you're not yet logged in. The home component contains additional navigation to prominently display a link to the artist portal and a link to the Springboard website. It also has a featured unit and event. To accomplish this, I filter the unit and event array to only pull out the objects that contain featured true. Then I pass the props to the homepage component and display them using cards. The cards then anchor to their corresponding pages. The next component is the artist portal. This component my partner worked on. I added to it by making all the cards the same height and doing some CSS formatting on the unit pages. When you click on each card, it takes you to the appropriate page. Once the user signs in, they will be able to download the coursework. That will be something added in the back end. Since we have not signed in, the button is not there. I created an About component using simple JSX. It contains information about work of art and a small picture to the left. It's kept simple and concise. The event component works similar to the artist portal. The only difference is that each link clicks through to an external page. At the moment, these events are placeholders and do not link through to live registration. Props are passed from the main component to events. A function component then maps out the individual objects in an array. The individual arrays are then passed to a function that deconstructs the props and creates a card using the deconstructed date, name, description, and link. Last but not least, the contact component is made with a class component and it has its own state. The state is used to handle changes and help form validation. The entire form was made using React. The first and last names must be at least 2 letters in length. The phone number can only contain numbers, and the email should have an @ sign. Once the back end is implemented, the submit button will send the form information over directly. For me, the biggest challenge was creating the homepage. I faced 2 challenges. The first was that the blue navigation kept stretching the page. The navigation was wider than the rest of the page and left a large amount of extra space on the right. I found out it was because of some preset React properties. In order to fix this, I had to override a React nav class with a special class called portal nav and put it inside its own container with a custom portal div class. The portal div has a max width of 100%, and the portal nav centers links on the page. The second challenge was finally having to face my struggle with understanding how passing props worked and having to use filter correctly to get the featured unit in events. To better understand props, I did 3 things. 1, I created a visual representation of how the props flowed. This helped me a lot as I am a creative and visual person. 2, I looked at the outside resources such as YouTube and Stack Overflow. And 3, I reached out to a couple mentors to help me break down and understand props to the best of my ability. I'm really impressed with how everything came together. It was a huge learning experience for me. I love how visually pleasing it is and really enjoyed working with the CSS. I enjoyed the challenges that I faced with the homepage and learned to link cards externally on the event page. I'm also very excited to learn backend so everything can come together and make work of art a finished product. Thank you for taking a look at my React project. My next project is going to be an app that helps people with social anxieties and depression keep in touch with their loved ones. That will be done using React Native.